Welcome to Whole CEO with Lisa G. I'm the best-selling author of The Boss Weight Loss. I'm bringing you the top tips to be unstoppable. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to actually pull up a chair with today's top experts in mindset, weight loss, business, and more. Learn our top tips so that you can have more energy, be fit and resilient, feel unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable.
She's been in the fitness industry for 30 plus years. She's a teacher at heart from having taught elementary school for 20 years, turning her passion to the mothers of students when she realized helping women would have a greater health impact. She helps thousands of online clients worldwide with her fitness and nutrition programs, helping women improve their health through habit-based nutrition. Shawna Kaminski, welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me, Lisa.
I'm so excited that we finally got a chance to sit down and talk. And I want to jump right in with the content, help our audience. What's the best diet for women that are over 40?
Honestly, the best diet that women can be on is the one that they're currently on. I know that sounds crazy, but of course it's going to need some tweaks, but we really need to stop the diet culture and stop the read it and eat it meal plans and learn to eat a little more intuitively. Now, of course, this is going to have some, guidelines, because intuitive eating doesn't mean that, oh, I want to eat potato chips, I'm going to eat potato chips. That's not going to match our health goals.
Right.
But the problem is a lot of people look to a diet and get this read it and eat it diet, and I must eat this. And then they never really learn to connect the dots between what they're eating, how they're feeling, and the results they're getting.
Right.
So a lot of women, if you can kind of give them the guidance and license to eat what feels good for them and then make some tweaks. For example, we need to increase protein.
Right.
Protein is going to help satiate you. It's going to help us maintain and even grow lean muscle. And that's really important, especially as we age.
Yes.
So increasing lean protein, reducing processed foods, because processed foods cause a lot of inflammation, and just increasing those fruits and vegetables. What our grandmothers and what our mothers said about nutrition, they were right, about just eating whole healthy foods from the ground, less processed foods. At least that's what my mom said. I think
you're lucky. I was raised like that too. I consider myself lucky. Like at the time I was really like coming home from school, I'm like, what is this broccoli and stuff in the fridge? But now I'm grateful for my healthy eating mom and my genetics.
Yeah. And so, a lot of people know a lot more about nutrition than they give themselves credit for. Like common sense sometimes just flies out the window in terms of where nutrition and diet are concerned, and partly because the media plays into women's insecurities, and then they try and feed us all this baloney that there's something magical about a certain way of eating, but the certain way of eating is something that's sustainable.
Right. So, it has to be sustainable. I agree with you. So I've never heard of read it and eat it. That's like hilarious to me. Is that like following the trends?
Oh, I've just always called, because so many people ask me for a meal plan, which I can provide.
Right.
I say, I would much prefer to, rather than to just give you this, here's a meal plan, read it and eat it.
Yeah.
What if you don't like what if you don't like chicken and broccoli?
Yeah.
What if you like salmon? What if you like other things? It's like, I want to teach people how to eat so that they are empowered to make healthy choices and then understand, I ate this, I felt this way, these are the results I'm getting.
Right.
It's so funny how, we eat our entire lives, but oftentimes we just don't make that connection to how we're feeling and the results we're getting. Right. So we just make it top of mind awareness. And like I said, if I were to say, the top tips would be increase lean protein, protein at every meal and snack, because then that's going to keep you full. And then increase like fiber through vegetables, and reduce the top 3, and reduce processed foods.
Well, those are awesome tips. And I love how you want to teach them how to fish. So you're not just giving them a fish.
That's exactly it. Yes, because my job as a coach is to not be their coach, which is not really a great business plan.
Right. But you want, I do the same. I don't want to give someone a meal plan. I want to tell them my system and have them work it into their life. So I love your intuitive eating and how you focus on the feeling. And let me ask you also too, is it harder for women over 40 to lose weight?
Yes. I mean, I think, everyone would disagree if I said, no, it's easy. It's not. There are more challenges.
Yes.
It's not, but and I think you would agree as well, is that
I'm well over 40. I can say that, it's your metabolism changes, but there's things you can do about it.
well, and also it's for women, but it's also for men too. Women seem to think that, oh, it's just us.
No.
But if we look at men over
Yes.
40, they start to gain more belly fat as well. Like when we lose estrogen, when our estrogen levels drop, we tend to, put on belly fat more.
Right.
But there's changes that are going on for men as well.
Oh, totally. Menopause.
There is a menopause. Yeah. So I'm not discounting the female experience, because there are some challenges. One of the big challenges, and this will probably kind of like bleed into maybe our next question, is that as we age, when we become more sedentary, we start to lose our lean muscle tone.
Right.
And when we lose lean muscle tone, we tend to, like, our calorie burning power is diminished, because the more muscle we have on our body, muscle is metabolically active. So it takes more energy to keep that muscle going. So as we age, one of the reasons that, a lot of women are like, I turned 40 and it just seems like my metabolism is shut down. It's not the magic age of 40. It's the fact that we haven't been cognizant of the fact that we're probably a little bit more sedentary. If we're moms, our kids are a little bit older, when you have toddlers, you're chasing all the time, you're probably
Right.
getting less steps in. I mean, we look at the pandemic and people are working from home. Well, nobody's getting the steps in that
Oh,
they
I
were.
know. The whole COVID-19 or the quarantine 15 and the COVID curves is a thing. And I couldn't agree with you more. I want to just definitely keep going with this conversation, because I feel so lucky that my muscles have been my basic aging in reverse plan.
Well, it's not luck, Lisa. Your muscles didn't happen by accident,
Because I've been working out for 30 years.
right?
And I love working out. I'm one of those weird, freaky people that I get all super anxious and freaky if I don't move my body. So I feel better. And I love that you focus on how do you feel with the food, because for exercise, I want to talk to you about why we need to lift the heavy things.
Well, and that is because as we age, we start to lose that lean muscle tone. And you and I both know that muscle is the fountain of youth. Muscle
is.
Yes, it's going to keep you functional. It's going to keep you energetic. It's going to help keep you leaner. And so there's this big circle of what tends to happen with many women. And like I said, I don't want to discount the experience of many women that are like having a really hard time as menopause approaches. But lots of people they're not aware that their protein requirements are very low, like that they're just not, women tend to love carbs. So number one, they're not eating much protein, so they're hungry all the time, eating more carbs. Number two, they're less active, and so they're starting to lose that lean muscle. So the calories that they're taking in is not burned as efficiently if they had lean muscle. And number two, number three, they're not as active. And so they are losing functionality. And the one thing that, like, when I was younger, I mean, I'm vain. That one of the reasons I work out is because I like
Me
how I
too.
feel.
I want to represent, I'm sure as you do, like, who are we in the world as leaders if we don't at least walk the walk?
Correct. You're not going to go to a dentist with bad teeth. You're not going to go to a fitness professional that doesn't look fit and healthy.
Right.
So my vanity has, as well as my, love of movement has, pushed me to work out on those days that I don't want to. But what happens is that, people they're not working out, they're not exercising, they're not feeling good, they're feeling sluggish, they're burning even less calories. And it's kind of like a spiral downward.
Right.
But the good news is that there's very little small changes that women can make that gets that moving in the opposite direction. I often like to call it like 1 degree of change. If you think of a cruise ship going to a destination, if the whatever navigation is off by 1 degree, you're going to miss that destination over long.
Right.
Over the long. And just like our behaviors, if we move our behaviors to something like having a handful of jelly beans every day, not working out, sitting watching television every night, small things, that's going to move our health goals in one direction. But just eliminating that handful of jelly beans, going for a walk after dinner, maybe adding a little bit more protein, small changes will move you in the other direction. So we don't have to change everything. We don't have to overhaul our entire lifestyle, just small changes. And then, as you and I agree, adding some resistance training makes a whole lot of difference.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I always agree that small steps are sustainable. So what can you do? And then add on to that, like start with this. And I love the fact that we need to get people away from the addictive carbs, because don't you find that your whole body will crash and burn if you're just eating carbs and you want more?
Yeah, well, you have these energy surges and, you feel energized, and then that wears off and you need more caffeine and carbs. And then it's this negative cycle where you're never really feeling fully energized. Whereas if you add a little protein, you have more sustained energy. So
I love it.
But I also would like to say that I don't like the idea that foods are off limits.
Okay.
Because life without some of your favorite foods is really not worth living.
Agree.
So, right. So you have to find a way to, fit those guilty pleasures, which I don't even want to call guilty pleasures, because then it kind of, alludes to you're cheating, which, is a negative connotation.
Correct.
But just finding ways, and that's one thing that I do with my clients is, if you want a glass of wine, it's like, okay, well, let's figure out a way that you can enjoy that glass of wine or that piece of cake or pizza, have pizza night with your family, and not sabotage your fitness goals and weight loss goals, and feel good about it. Because we have to be feeling good along the way, because change happens when we feel good rather than when we're beating ourselves up.
I can't believe it. I'm so glad we got a chance to sit down and talk. I love how I'm so aligned with everything you're up to in the world. Do you want to summarize anything that we spoke about today and let our audience know where they can find you?
Well, probably my blog, shawnak.com, or if you're on social media, I'm big on Instagram, just at Shawna Kaminski. And I do lots of little short 15-second videos with little snippets that I have a lot of fun with. So those are probably the best spots to find me.
Awesome. And so any final tips for our audience and how they can be unstoppable?
Don't give up. It is never too late. And if you feel like you're in a pit of despair, sometimes you need a little guidance, somebody to hold your hand to get you going, whether that be like a coach, a spouse, a friend. Like, don't feel like you can go, like, don't think you have to go it alone. Reach out for help, but don't give up. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can be improving your health, your fitness, your perspective. Yeah, just don't give up.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Shawna.
Thanks for coming to Whole CEO with Lisa G. After over 20 years helping people lose weight and get fit, I'm so excited to announce that I found the missing link with my coaching. Message me if you want to learn how to look better, feel better, and go faster with a master. Lisa G at lisagfit.com.